Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm using this simple vintage collection by Simple Stories, and I'm going to show you guys a 12 by 12 hack for cutting slimline card bases. Plus, I'm going to make 5 cards because this collection is gorgeous. I've had it in my stash for a little while, been waiting to play with it, and today was the day. Let's start here. I had gotten this pack to go with it. It came with 6 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock. I liked that it had this design in the sheets, that they weren't just plain, but it had some, you know, really neat characteristics. Okay, so you don't have to use the washi tape for this hack, but I showed you it anyways. In case you haven't seen me do hacks before, I like to use washi tape on my cutting board so I can just cut really quick. I'm cutting this at 3.5. This is one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I cut it 3 times at 3.5, and that's it. I fold it, and now I have a card base. Like, it just couldn't get any easier than this, you guys. Now, this is a side folding. If my paper was thicker, a heavier weight, I could have pulled off a top folding design and made my designs vertical. But because this is a little bit lighter weight, I needed to stick it out and do a side folding. But by the time I add all my layers, it's quite fine. I think this paperweight's probably somewhere around a 60-pound weight, if I were to guess. Okay, so it's double-sided, so I can fold some to like this where the teal is showing. I can fold it the other way and have this beautiful beige color showing. And I can get a ton of card bases so quickly and easily. All right, another hack, because that one was just so simple. Why not? Let's go further. So I took a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I cut it at 6. Now I'm turning it, and I'm going to cut it at 7. Rotate it again on the 6-inch side. We'll fold it in half. There we go. So your paper should be folded at that point to 3.5 by 6. And now you could have a top folding this way. I cut the other spare piece down to 5 by 5 for a square card front. And now I'm going to slow this down and talk to you about this. This is the same spare sheet of paper. It measures 6 by 5. Here I'm going to cut it down to an A2 card front, but you could also leave it at 6 by 5, and you could fold it to be 3 by 5. So that's definitely 3 by 5 could definitely qualify, I think, for a mini slimline, and you could get then 4 slimline card bases out of this, but your slimline card bases would be different sizes, right? So I wanted to tell you that, but here I got a square card front, an A2, and 2 mini slimlines. Okay, last cutting hack. Now I'm taking a 12 by 12 sheet and I'm cutting it to 3.25. And I'm just going to make 3 slices that way. And then I'm going to cut this to 5 3/4. And this is going to give me 6 card fronts, or I also use them as the inside space for my cards. So I really didn't think I would use the black that much, which is why I chose to not use this as a card base, but instead to use these as my card inserts. All right, my design today is going to be based on the cut aparts. I think it's so awesome. Simple Stories gave 4 different sizes of cut aparts in this collection. I love it. So they gave those little ones, these giant ones, then these square ones. So cool. These are 3 by 3. And of course the backs are beautiful. And then they gave these, the ones that you're used to seeing for like pocket journaling and stuff. All right, so each card I'm making today, I'm going to focus on the different cut aparts. So this is for the typical ones, the journaling cards that we're used to seeing. I just took my circle punch and punched out that one detail from one card and then brought in the other. And I was going to give the black cardstock a go on this one, but immediately I flipped it over and decided to go here with it. Now I have these sandwich bags in my collection of card making stuff, and I just wanted to bring these in for some texture and interest today. You could use so these are kind of like glassine bags, but I actually ordered them off Amazon and they're actually sandwich bags. They're really inexpensive, and sometimes I put goodies in it when I'm shipping out my Etsy orders. So I really like having them around. Anyways, there was one piece of ephemera on one of the journaling cards that made me think of these, and which is why I brought it in. Now, I'm just scuffing up the edges, which is nothing new if you watched my videos. And I just love the texture it adds without adding foam tape or anything. It just adds dimension and texture. I go ahead and do that to this card front piece as well. And then I'm just going to glue this all down. This card, it just looks so dimensional, but really the only part that I popped up was the circle piece. I pop it up on foam tape, but otherwise everything is just glued down flat. But when you're looking at the card, you can hardly tell just by adding those layers, the washi tape, this brown bag, 2 layers of paper. It just really makes it look very dimensional. Okay, so this is my second card, and now this is one of the bigger pieces of ephemera. And I liked this one as soon as I saw it, so I just had to play with it. And of course, I'm just tearing the edges here to get it the size I need for this card base. And I am really liking this size for myself for the mini Slimlines. So when it's folded, again, it is 3.5 by 6. It seems to be my favorite, and it fits in a 6 3/4 envelope very well. So here I just brought in more of that bag, and then this sticker, which I put the foam tape on the back, and then I used the anti-static powder tool to take off the stickiness from the sticker. And I decided we needed another layer on this one too, so I'm grabbing a scrap from when I had cut my card bases. And a little more editing here. And then I feel like it's good to go. So these cards are pretty simple. Just lots of paper layers, which is, of course, exactly what I like. But I really, I was watching Crazy Paper Chick. She did some mini Slimlines, and she was talking about how, it's kind of unfortunate to only get one mini Slimline card base out of each 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And I was like, yeah, we're going to need to hack this. So I just thought about it and came up with this way to where if we use one 12 by 12 sheet, we can get 3 card bases. And I think we can feel good about that. Now, of course, you can find heavier cardstock. Basil might be a good choice. Some of their paper I find tends to crack when you turn it into a card base, but not all of it. It's really bizarre. I think their smooth texture does better for card bases than the ones that are more heavily texturized, even though I like the heavily texturized. Okay, so for this one, I used one of the big journaling cards. I think this was 4x6 or something. Yeah, 4x6. And I just cut it down to where it would fit on my card base, leaving a little of the card base showing on the left and right sides. And it was just so pretty. I really didn't have to do a whole lot. I pulled in a sticker and popped it up with foam. And then I pulled in a butterfly sticker and did the same thing, popping it up with some foam dots. And then I'm going to bring in the Salt Lake City mix. It's been a couple of videos. I did put it down, but now I'm back into it. I can't help myself. This is like my favorite sequin mix of all time. So I am going to double these up, just like I like to do. So the largest sequin on the bottom, a mid-size, and then sometimes I put the flowers in the middle. Okay, now I'm working with the smallest. I think these are 2 inches by 2 inches, these little squares from the cut-aparts. And I was going to do 2 at a time, and then I aborted mission. I'm just going to do 1 card. So now I'm playing around, trying to get things kind of how I want them. And then I decided to do a couple of things to these cut-aparts. So I'm using my picket fence, and I'm kind of giving this like a chalkboard look and just ink blending the edges of the cut-aparts. And I do this for both of my black ones. Then I'm going to bring in some embossing ink, and I'm actually going to emboss these. I love a heavily embossed and messy border sometimes on things, so that's what I decided to do with these, with a gold embossing powder. And I really like the way those turned out. It takes that little 2x2 square image and really gives it a lot of extra character, I think. So I had also just cut out that circle in the center from another 2x2. So I actually used 3 of the 2x2 squares on this card. Okay, and I was on a roll using this paper bag. So I decided to put some of that back there. Now glue will show through on these, so you have to be strategic, just like with vellum, about where you put your adhesive. This piece that I'm putting glue on right now, that was also a scrap from cutting my card bases. So you get a nice, I think a 1.5 inch strip for your scrap, which is fantastic. You can definitely use that in your card design. So don't throw it away. Again, most everything on this card is just glued down flat. The only thing I popped up was this little happy hello. I did decide to go ahead and bring in some of my mint green ribbon from the Dollar Tree for this one, which you guys are going to see in just a second. Here it is. I was kind of playing around with how I'd want it to show, and I decided to do this zigzag design. And it wasn't perfect. In fact, I kind of want to go pull it off the card and fix it. I want that wrap around that you see on the left side of the circle to be on the right side as well. So, hindsight. I might fix it. Either way, I really like this card. So much fun. And you guys, I did all the insides. So this is my last card. And then at the end, I'll show you how I decorated the insides of these cards. Now, this piece was really like heavily inspired by the same piece that even spurred the idea of me getting this bag out. So there is a cut apart where there's like layered paper taped together. And I drew direct inspiration from that. So sometimes, especially in like junk journal, digital papers and stuff, I get so inspired by how they layer. And so I just try to mimic that. And so that's what I'm doing here. Now, this is washi tape from the collection. I got the collector's bundle, I believe is what it's called. So I got the washi tape, the ephemera, which I didn't even use in this video, the sticker sheets, the chipboard stickers, and 12 by 12 paper. I'm definitely buying a lot more 12 by 12 paper these days because, well, there's so much you can do with it. You can go back on my channel and see some other 12 by 12 card hacks. I definitely am enjoying it. Okay, some more Salt Lake City from Catherine Pooler sequins. And this is the one where I put the flowers in the center. So these actually have 3 layers of sequins. So it has the big one, and then the mid-size pink one, and then I go in and add the flowers on top of that, and it gives it so much sparkle. Okay, so these are the 5 cards. This is the first one. And guys, doesn't that look like it's really dimensional? To me, it just does, but it's flat. It's totally flat. Even the foam tape I use is very low profile. And here's another. I did different things to the inside. That one actually used the scraps that I had torn off the edges. And then here's this sweet one. And I just had to pop up a couple of elements on this since really it's just a beautiful journaling card. And I love this one. And I'm showing you a close-up of those sequins. When you layer them like that, they're just awesome. Really sweet. So let me know what you guys think of this hack and of these cards. This collection is just so dreamy for me. It's 100% in my wheelhouse. So I had so much fun with it. I can't wait to play with it some more. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.